Welcome back, everyone. I am so incredibly glad you're here. Today, we're jumping right into something truly cinematic, thrilling, and honestly, deeply profound. We are deconstructing the final trailer for Disclosure Day. This explainer is going to map out a story that operates on this massive, global scale while completely blurring the line between Hollywood sci-fi and gritty, real-world documentary investigation. We're going to break down exactly how this narrative builds its tension, completely shifts our perspective, and ultimately asks some of the biggest, most existential questions humanity has literally ever faced.
Okay, let's dive into this. The whole thing kicks off right here with this incredibly powerful cold open. We're hearing a legendary creator reflecting on their legacy, specifically talking about the making of Close Encounters. But notice the mindset shift here. This isn't just about crafting a fun sci-fi story anymore. It's a massive shift in personal perspective. They're openly admitting to a growing, very genuine belief that, hey, we are not the only intelligent civilization out there. It perfectly sets the tone, dragging us out of the realm of pure fiction and into something that feels deeply, almost identically real.
Section 1. A shift in belief. The extraordinary event begins. Now, the story doesn't just linger on personal reflection for very long, it immediately thrusts us right onto the world stage, and it's so fascinating how it grounds this colossal cosmic revelation, not with, giant spaceships hovering over cities or politicians yelling in war rooms, but with an everyday, totally normal morning news broadcast in Kansas City. Just a regular morning suddenly interrupted by the absolutely staggering declaration that we are up against the most extraordinary event in human history. By framing it like this, it really drives home that this is a paradigm shift that will disrupt the lives of absolutely everyone, everywhere, all at once.
But just as our brains are starting to process the sheer magnitude of that event, things pivot hard. That sweeping sense of wonder is violently cut short by one single sharp question. What did you steal? And the answer? Secrets. Immediately, the whole vibe flips from awe to this intense, heart-pounding suspense. We aren't just looking up at the sky in wonder anymore. We are suddenly looking over our shoulders.
Moving on to Section 2, The Long Hidden Secret, Stealing the Truth. The source material makes it crystal clear that the truth about intelligent life wasn't just misplaced, it was actively, deliberately buried. And the real kicker here is exactly how long this truth has been kept from us. 79, a staggering 79-year cover-up. I mean, think about the weight of that. This isn't some recent development. We are talking about a multi-generational deception. The narrative introduces these activists who are fiercely demanding that this 79-year lie has got to end right now because they believe that all of us, every single one of us, have a fundamental right to know. It's almost 8 decades of hidden history finally boiling over.
But of course, every movement for the truth is going to face some intense opposition, right? And here we get a look at the stark perspective of the antagonists. And the interesting thing is they aren't necessarily hiding the truth out of pure malice, but out of this deeply cynical belief about human nature. They state flat out with this cold calculation, the human race cannot accept what we know. They genuinely believe humanity is just too fragile, too completely unpredictable to handle a 79-year-old secret of this magnitude, which leads to their desperate mandate: we need to stop it any way we can. It sets up this incredibly thrilling, high-stakes cat-and-mouse dynamic.
Section 3. Fear versus empathy. 2 human reactions. So the narrative expertly juxtaposes 2 radically different human reactions to the exact same unprecedented event. It begs the question, how do we actually respond when our entire understanding of the universe just changes overnight? Well, on one side, we have raw, visceral terror. People panicking, yelling things like, "I'm frightened out of my wits," or frantically warning each other, "they're going to kill you." They are completely terrified of the cover-up agents and terrified of the unknown. But then, on the flip side, cutting right through all that noise and panic, is this profoundly unifying perspective. A calm voice asserting, this is a story about us, all of us. It perfectly divides humanity into those who shrink down in fear and those who expand their empathy to finally embrace the truth.
And it all circles right back to this central, deeply philosophical question. How will disclosure change us? This is the absolute hinge of the entire story. It's what allows things to transition seamlessly from the high-stakes thriller elements of dodging agents and stealing secrets right into the true existential core of what an event like this actually means for the human race.
Which brings us to Section 4, the meaning of disclosure, a new purpose.
The pacing beautifully slows down here. That frantic, paranoid energy of the cover-up gives way to this incredibly open, wondrous, and hopeful resolution. The answer to how it'll change us, emphatically positive. I believe for the better, we're told. It frames disclosure not as some existential threat, but as the next evolution of the human spirit. First, it reminds us of our immense capacity for empathy.
Second, it fundamentally proves, once and for all, that there is something bigger out there than just ourselves, which kind of shrinks down all our petty global conflicts, doesn't it? And finally, it suggests a profound journey of self-discovery, that maybe the only way to truly know our purpose is to go all the way back to where it all began.
And just look at this incredible, deeply intimate dialogue exchange planted right in the middle of this massive cosmic event. I know you too. What happened to us? It is so striking because it takes this universe-altering discovery and anchors it entirely in profound personal connection and shared human memory. It's heavily implying that understanding the extraterrestrial might actually be the ultimate key to understanding our own fractured human relationships. We essentially have to figure out what happened to us right as we're preparing to meet them.
As we reach the climax here, we see how this story resolves all that earlier tension and dread. The very same voice that once only mused about these things in sci-fi fiction now fully, openly embraces the reality of the arrival. Wouldn't it be wonderful for people to know they're coming, all of this is true, disclosure day? The secrecy is completely over. The dread is totally replaced by absolute wonder. It is just this triumphant, awe-inspiring acceptance of our brand new place in the universe.
So I'm going to leave you with this to think about. We've looked at the panic, we've seen the profound unity, and we've explored the sheer incredible potential for human evolution that this story lays out. If you woke up tomorrow morning, turned on your local news broadcast, and discovered that this 79-year secret was finally out, how would you react? Would you lean into the fear, or would you lean into empathy? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you next time.